Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome to DBS This Morning. Of course, the show that gives you the good vibes, and we are here to inspire, to encourage today. I'm really excited to have Chef Robby here with us. So, thank you so much for coming through. How are you doing?
I've had better days. I'm doing okay generally. I'm in good health. They
You
say
know,
health is wealth.
definitely. I think right now
You
is
know, the
is
most important cliche in the whole world.
and I think right now is forcing us to realize that we need to actually look at the smaller things in life right now, and that's gonna keep us going because I think everybody's just dealing with something. It's gonna be heavy, but the nature of our conversation today is gonna be very interesting, and I couldn't think of anybody better than Chef Robby to have that discussion with because we're gonna talk about being entrepreneurs right now in a COVID-19 climate. Do we stay back, allow ourselves to be overwhelmed, and watch our businesses just fall to the wayside, or do we step up, be resilient, try to be creative? So he's been in the industry, he is an expert at what he does, and he is also living proof of being resilient, being creative. So right now, Chef Robby, I mean, this is definitely some interesting times, and I think we are living in history making periods right now. So for entrepreneurs, it's also difficult. Everybody's feeling the pinch. So let's just talk about being an entrepreneur right now in this sort of climate.
Okay. What you just said brings back memories of a little song. We are living in a terrible times. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. We just woke up one morning and we were just in a different world. I mean, it happens kind of gradually, but I mean, especially when they decided they were shutting down the country and locking down, and everybody had to stay in. I mean, that's crazy to ask people to do that, and then then you have to do it by forcefully, to make the adjustment of just not being able to have the liberties that you had all your life. It's like just so it's kind of crazy. I mean, it's a major adjustment for everybody. I mean, the few people who are doing well during these times, who have the items that are needed, like, whether it be sanitizers and the things that you need, the supermarkets, people have to eat and whatnot. I mean, 85, 95% of the world or the country have felt this thing, really, really, really hard. And, and my industry in particular has felt it, as you all probably, as much as you're hearing about everything else, you're hearing about the amount of people who are employed from the industry, the tourism industry, the restaurateurs, guest houses, that sort of thing. It's all just gone from up there to down there, which is kind of crazy. That's some kind of adjustment to make unless you have a readily available disposable income, or your savings has been fantastic, or you're just rich, from inheritance or whatever. Otherwise, I mean, and we know that 75%, 95% of the world doesn't, have that luxury. So a lot of us have felt the pinch. In my industry in particular, I can tell you from experience, I haven't been open for 8 months. There are restaurants who are open and operating, and I mean, I'm on the chat, on the independent restaurants chat, and I see the effort that some of those restaurateurs are putting into trying to stay open, or trying to survive, or trying to cut corners to increase sales, or to get back, to break even. And I have to, I commend them, because I think I get them an A+ for effort, for everything, and they're still not, able to survive, comfortably, because I mean a big chunk of their business was tourism and the tourists, and I don't think that we have a local patronage, to sustain us. I mean, there's no economies of scale. I mean, in the U.S. or wherever, if things start getting back to a semblance of normalcy, they may be able to sustain themselves without all the tourism and all the, visitors and whatnot. America can sustain America with business. St. Lucia can't. And especially in my industry, there's not enough local business to go around. With me, even worse, I'm inside of La Place Carénage, and all the diamond stores and other stores around that attracted people to have some sort of walk-in action going on. I don't even have that. And then the cruise ships are gone, which makes it vice versa.
Almost a dead zone.
So, I've taken a really, really, really hard punch from this one. And I'm really happy for those who've been able to catch up and do well enough. For example, I'm really happy for Albert at Kibi's. In the local businesses, been able to sustain him pretty well. And some of the other businesses around are starting to pick up also. But a lot of the other restaurants who are dependent on a big tourist influx, and, you know, they're not going to survive it. unless they, take a big loan and it's going to take them ages to dig out of it.
No, you see, I'm happy that you touched on that conversation too, because as we come close to wrapping this up, I appreciate your honesty because we have to be real about these topics right now. But the question is, what can persons like yourself and entrepreneurs do? Like, where does the resilience come from? How can we look to be creative and still, try to keep afloat as we ride this wave out?
Well, there you go. For starters, you have to, like you say, ride this wave off. Take a deep breath, reflect, introspect, pray, ask for strength, from the Most High, dig down within yourself and say, hey, look, I have no control over this. I have to do something about it. My grandfather was very big on whenever I used to go to him with a problem, he used to tell me, uh, I hear enough about that problem already. How do you resolve it? So he used to tell me, don't dwell on problems, resolve them. All right, he tell me, ask your soulagement. All right, look for something to smooth it out and get, to write it off and to put it behind you and to move on positively or take it as a building block to, to do something new and different. Okay, so
Wise words
oh,
right
wise
now.
words. Yeah, I grew up around old people, and as they say, "Là où les verts goûtent, mon canne, bon principe." You have good principles. Yeah. So that's something that I learned, and I've taken his advice, and I took a deep breath, and I decided, hey, what can I do, and started doing something about it.
Good. Well, this is where I'm going to jump in because St. Lucia, I'm going to leave you hanging just for a little bit. You need to tune in tomorrow because we're going to continue part two of the conversation as we discover how Chef Robby's creativity is definitely showing that entrepreneurs right now in these difficult times can be resilient by just, maybe re strategizing and being a little bit more creative. So, Chef Robby, thank you so much for coming through. And St. Lucia, keep it locked because tomorrow we're going to give you part two. And trust me, you don't want to miss out on that.